Hey guys, welcome back to a new video. Today we're going to be taking apart an engine for paint. So I already have the tender part just because that's not really that important. You can see I actually have the tender, the truck, and all that stuff in there just for right now before I strip it. I just put this in here as a test for xylene because I know what kind of paint this uses and it's thin by xylene. So normally when I'm working on a brass engine, I usually have a cradle. But because I'm painting it, because I'm taking this apart to paint, that is not important. So without further ado, we'll just kind of start unscrewing stuff. So on something that's already painted that you're repainting, especially like this, I'm going to have to probably strip the screws, which I don't really like doing, but it is what it is. So I usually like taking apart the cover plates last, just because if you take that apart early, you can lose your driver spring, which you don't want to do. So here you can have, you see the front part, so I'll save that for later. And now we take off the rear, which on a United is back here. Sorry for the lighting, it's a little... Let's see if I can get you guys some better light. This is kind of annoying, but let's see. Sorry, this is kind of happening in one take because I don't want to put something back together after I've taken it apart. So there you go. And you just kind of want to have a place to put everything where you can kind of keep it safe. I like using these old Central Valley things just because they snap shut and they're not super bulky. So when you're taking apart an engine all the way, you you kind of have to almost unscrew everything that you can unscrew. So we'll do this. Just get my fat grubby hands in there. I'll just use that. So what that means on an engine is if the weight isn't installed, you're gonna want to take out the weight. So that's not that hard. It's usually just 2 sheet metal or wood screws that are screwed into a lead weight. Take that out. Now the reason I'm repainting this because I'm not a super huge fan of how the paint looks. It's kind of why you repaint anything. So let's see if we can get this out. There we go. So I really like painting Uniteds just because they're super robust and durable. And when you paint them, you don't have to do a lot of soldering and unsoldering, or resoldering. So I just put that in there just so I know that those screws go there, and it takes up less room in my little thing. So now the body is done. So we'll put this here. Oh, well, that's just some tape that fell out. I will be doing some extra drilling, but that's not really important. Oh, that fell off. But just drilling out some lights. This already had the lights drill out, but I'm thinking about doing an extra lighting kit on this thing. So we'll work on that. Now what do you want to do? Let's take off the gearbox. So one thing that's nicer about working on newer engines is, let's see, you don't have to deal with the flathead screws, especially brass, because a lot of the screws on here were brass, which means you can't use any kind of magnetized screwdriver because it'll just fall off. So take out the gearbox here, which I'll probably strip just to get it clean out. So you can see, now we got the little mechanism rolling all good and stuff. So now, oh, I'll leave that on. Actually, I'll take that off. So usually, on most non-articulated engines, that is actually what the boiler screw is right in front of the mechanism, so you look for that. So you can see, so now what we're going to do is we're going to take off the cover plate. Now let's see. I take out every single articulated, even by the same company, is different, so you kind of just got to learn as you go and just kind of feel your way through it. So this, I don't know if I have to unscrew that middle one. We'll see. Let's see if I can get it just to focus down there instead of on my fat hands. So there you go. So let's see. So there we go. And here's another piece that's done. So now let's be careful. So what you don't want to lose is these little things right here. Those are the driver springs. And while, you know, let's see if I have a better thing to grip with. Oh, that looks like a good thing to grip with. You can just take those off. So usually I super glue them because I'm not usually taking them back apart, and this person did too. There we go. Now this is not a... I'm actually surprised because given the quality of this paint job, I wouldn't expect it to be as nice as it is. And when I say as nice as it is, I did the weathering job on this, so it wasn't weathered, but most of the time when you get a poor quality paint job like this, it usually is, they usually don't take it apart. So whoever painted this did actually take it apart. So you can see. And that makes my life a lot easier just because it looks a lot nicer. So we'll just... Now, I did make a mistake. I think I probably should not have weathered this, just because I'm going to have to now strip these if I want them to not be weathered. So I'm trying to make it where you don't have to see my fat hands. There we go. This should be good. Come on, there we go. So this is, I'm just taking off the eccentric crank on the valve gear. So that goes off there. And you just unscrew this. Now sometimes I don't really take everything apart, but just because I already paint this, I really would like to strip it, so that's why I'm doing this. See if I can get lower and get up into here like this. Oh, that's much better for you guys. Oh, there we go. Okay. So, valve gear screw goes in here. Now, it's pretty easy to tell the difference between a valve gear screw and not a valve gear screw. So, there we go. So, this is this side. So, then, usually what I'll do is I'll mark it. Oh, crap. Where's my marking tool? Okay, I guess I'll just... Okay, so I'll just mark it with a little F. I know it's kind of hard to see for you guys, but it works for me. Just because it's I mean, as long as one looks like an F and one kind of looks like an E, you're okay. Besides that, it's just pretty. It's just, you know, vanity. So there we go. And just try to screw stuff, like, on the body and stuff, don't worry about it, but just don't, like, try to screw stuff back in wherever you can. On places like this, I'm just doing the disassembly. So sorry about that. So now, actually, so I'll just make a little F mark, an E mark on this. Just got a little mark there. Now we can take this off. And it's really not that difficult. It just kind of takes... The thing about a lot of brass stuff is it just takes time to kind of know what you're doing. And once you kind of do it the first 2 or 3 times, you're fine. Okay, we got a little markings, and now we'll go into the other side. And then, oh, yeah, and then you gotta save these those little bearings, because those go in between the side rod and the main rod, which you don't want to lose those, or else you'll get a bind up in your mechanism. So pull that out. Sometimes it's easier when you have a ledge to work with, which is my finger. So then, we're kind of done with the front. This is all good to go. And I'll just make my mark. Then we'll move on to the back. There we go. So now I'm going to leave this for later. Actually, I'm actually not, because I just realized that'd be a bad idea. So you really just want to make sure everything is all in a good spot. So, and I haven't figured out how I'm going to do this. I don't know if I'm going to blacken the side rods or not. And what's super nice about some of the PFMs is, or let's see where it is. It's all one piece. So, just do. Shoot. This was back here. So that makes this the engineer side. As you can see, even I make little mistakes like that. So you got to be careful, and I should take my own advice. So you can laugh at me all you want. I deserve it. But in my opinion, there's just something kind of nice about this. It's just calm. It's not stressful because you're not really like, oh, I can't get this thing on, or this thing is broken. You may get that, but usually when you're working on a nicer engine, This is a nicer engine. This is, I don't know if I showed this or not, but this is a PFM H6, and this is the later run. This is a nice engine. So, here are your drivers. That goes with your other stuff. You just gotta make a little mark. See, as you can see, I don't know where my marking tool is, so I'm just using the screwdriver, which works in a pinch. So now here we have the rear driver, so you can see, let's see, how do I want to get to that? Let's see if we can get from in here. So I'll just kind of come back down so you guys get a better view. Oh, that's annoying. So I will be replacing this motor, so, but this is I like this design because this is the later design, so a lot less play in the sprocket. So yeah, I really like that. This is a bit more. I'm just gonna. Oh, that's not good. Oh, so I guess that wire just came off. So while working on that, we'll just kind of do the same thing. So, it's really easy to, like, once you do one thing, you kind of know most of it. So that's one reason why I like this, because especially when you work on a lot of engines that are similar, and I own a lot of United engines. Well, let's see, I don't like that, so there we go. It's better for you guys to get a better view. So sorry if this is like, normally what I would do if I mess up or forget something is I remake I just remake it or something. But the problem with that is, it's a lot harder to put back an engine. So that's why you're getting just me talking. And I hope you're okay with that, because sometimes I can be a bit of an annoying person. So there we go. Okay, so now we have a gearbox off again on the back. Let me just get that. Huh, I wonder what that is. Someone soldered something to that. Now, what I would recommend is, if you're painting your first engine, don't buy a basket case. 2 reasons. One, because buying a basket case is a lot more work. Usually someone also messed it up, because if it was all good and perfect, it wouldn't be a part in the basket. So that's something to keep in mind, is save that until you know what you're doing or you have a lot of parts, because usually a basket case can turn into a very expensive case if you don't have all the parts. And I would hate for one of you, and I just don't want that to happen, because it's pretty annoying when you get this engine and you're like, oh, I'm going to put it together, and then you don't have the parts. Ask me how I know. Okay, so there's that. And then, okay, so. Got the little bearing over here. Put that in there. Okay, so let's see. So I'll get, why I switch sides, I'll get to in a second. Come on, there you go. There we go. Okay. Oh, I forgot. You also want to take off the brake shoes, because on these are plastic. And when you put them in any kind of lacquer thinner, they'll melt, like any kind of stuff that would strip this. Even if you just sandblast it, it'll take this right off. It'll kind of kill these, and they're hard to find, and just avoid doing it. It saves you time and headache and money. There we go. So I know my parts box looks a little unorganized, but it's how I work, and I remember things pretty well. I usually don't have anything extra. The only extra screws I have are for maybe screwing in a motor that I took out, or something I modified and changed. So, got a pretty decent track record. Okay, so this is riveted together, so I could. No, that's not going to work. Okay, so sometimes stuff like that happens. It's annoying. Right now I'm just getting those driver screws out. It's a lot easier with your fingers, just because you can kind of have more of an edge. Sometimes it's easier because I can just get my thing in here. why I sometimes don't like this, because it makes everything harder. Okay, so I'm gonna have to figure out. I'm just gonna leave this because I'm gonna have to figure out how to do that. How I want to approach that, and that'll take me a little while to think that through, and I don't want you guys to have to worry about that, because most of the time you don't have to worry about that, but this one you do. Okay, so okay, so basically, you should end up with something kind of about that much. So you have your front engine, your rear engine, your cover plates, your axles, your parts, your motor, your weight, and your engine. That's about all you're gonna get for the engine part. Obviously, the tender is pretty simple. You have 2 to 4 screws, the tender frame and the tender body, and then your trucks. That's about it. So this is the first part. The next part will be cleaning it off and getting it prepped for decoder and paint.